Morning, everyone. Welcome to your Tuesday morning flow out in Ruth Hardy Park. Beautiful morning. We'll thaw out, obviously, in the sun. It's really good. We'll get into some hip mobility today, some deep hip openers. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to take it onto our backs. And before we get into the physical aspects, let's start to find some stillness here. You bring the feet out to the edges of the mat. Let your knees just fall into each other. Nice little release on that low back. Pick the back of the head up and just lengthen out the back of the neck. Have a little bit of curve there. And then let's place one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. And before we get moving, starting to find some stillness here. So just begin to deepen the breath, lengthening out that inhale and exhale to a count of 4 or 5. Feel that belly lift and rise. And a nice slow exhale out the nose. Just let the bones start to feel heavy here against the mat as the earth supports and holds you up. As you connect with that rhythm of breath, just let that rhythm just help you to land in this moment, land on your mat, land into your practice. Everything else just begins to sort of fade away. That busy mind starts to slow down a little bit, hopefully. Just tuning in to the sensations in the body. Just beginning to find some observance here. Notice the quality of the breath. Not trying to force anything. And we'll stay with that theme for our practice this morning. When we get into areas like the hips that can be super, super tight, it's really important to approach that with a level of compassion. It's more of a passive approach as opposed to being judgmental, measuring yourself with the person next to you. Just remembering that the depth of our yoga poses does not define our practice. It's just more about where we are in our body and where we can find that opening, that stretch, that sense of relief. To shift that busy mind to that place of observance, non-judgment, of compassion. And stick with that throughout your practice. Continue to find that rhythmic breath. Letting everything just slow down. Just tune into the sensations around you, that warmth of the sun on your skin, sounds of the birds. If you're at home, just the sound of your breath. Just make that commitment. Just be committed to your practice for the next hour. Everything else can wait. Softening around the heart space. Drawing that breath into the belly. Let's do that. 2 more rounds of breath. Really lengthening out that exhale, maybe a second or 2 longer, just to find a little bit more space on it. All right, we'll go ahead and draw the knees up into the chest. Draw the tailbone down to the earth. And go ahead and wrap your hands around right below the knees or the shins. Then as you draw the knees into the chest, just start to kind of work the tops of the femur bone, the leg bone, into the hip sockets a little bit. Drawing them down and in. Drawing that tailbone down, just a little rock side to side. And then keep the toes together as you draw the knees up towards the chest and then bring the knees out open nice and wide, so open up the pelvis. And we'll just sort of rock through that with some big circles here, adding the breath. As you inhale, you open. Exhale, knees come back together and just move with that rhythm. You pause anywhere that feels good. And then we'll take that the opposite direction. So we'll draw the knees down towards the ankles and then open up and then squeeze and draw the knees up towards the armpits and then bring the knees back together. Toes can part if they need to, if you're starting to feel a little bit more open. All right, go ahead and let the feet come down to the mat. We're going to extend out through the left leg. Just let that ankle drop, keep that foot flexed. And we'll do a half happy baby here. So on the right side, heel comes up to the sky. Flex and draw the toes down towards you. And then go ahead and reach for the outer edge of that right foot. Left arm can come out to a T. And then just begin to draw that knee down towards the right armpit. Feeling that stretch on that outer hip. Pressing the feet up towards the sky. Rock side to side. You want to kind of extend out through the leg. Just get warmed up, waking those hips up. Right, then we'll go ahead and bend that left knee. We'll bring that left ankle in towards the bum. And then we'll cross that right ankle over, coming into a figure four. Ankle across the knee, we'll go ahead and thread the needle through the leg. A gentle draw of that left knee in towards the ribs. Feeling that stretch on that outer right hip, the further in you bring. Tailbone likes to sort of pop up, so tailbone drop down. Firm up that low back. Small circles with that left knee, whatever feels good. One more full round of breath here. And we'll go ahead and let that go. Uncross the ankle. We're going to take that to the other side. Right leg long. Left heel up to the sky. Half happy baby. Right arm out to a T, just to give you a little bit more stability in those shoulders. Tailbone down. And then just a gentle draw of that left knee towards the armpit. As I mentioned, keep that in mind. The depth of the poses does not set the measurement of your practice or the quality of your practice. See where you can feel that. Find your edge. Listen to your body. We'll go ahead and figure four on the second side. So right heel comes in, ankle comes across, thread the needle through. Nice deep breath in. And then exhale, gently drawing that right knee towards the chest, toward the ribs. Intensify as much as feels good. Sway side to side of the hips. One more big breath there. Let's that foot down. Let's take a full happy baby here. Hips are starting to feel a little bit more open. Heels come up. Flex and draw those toes down towards you. Reach for those outer edges. And then sink and draw the tail down. Drawing those knees towards the armpits. And a little rock side to side. One more breath here. Let all that go. We're going to make our way up to a comfortable seat. So take your time. Roll off to one side. If you feel like you want a little bit more, you can roll up and down the length of the spine, holding for the backs of the thighs. Otherwise, just roll off to one side. When you're ready, bring yourself up. And one of my favorite yoga props, blanket. And also use a block. As I said, we're working with the hips. If you're sitting and your hips are super hiked up, your knees are super hiked up more than your hips, definitely going to feel some tightness there. So what that blanket does, what that block does, is helps us start to level out the knees and the hips, a little bit more comfort there. Obviously, the further out you have the feet, the knees are going to be able to drop down a little bit more. So find your level, find what feels good. Nice idea to keep the toes flexed as well to protect those feet. Just roll the shoulders up, back, down, and open up the chest. Go ahead and grab for the knees, right below the knees or the outer knees. And then we're just going to rock through some cat and cow. Nice big inhale. Have that little arch in the back. Lengthen up through the crown. Deep breath in and then exhale, round back through the spine. Spread those shoulder blades apart and bring the chin to the chest. Rocking through the pelvis and the hips, starting to find some mobility here. Work with your breath here. Exhaling, squeezing, rounding back. Inhaling, finding length coming back. Begin to circle out through the torso. Use the shoulders to kind of dip down, find a little bit more length, press the knees, rock back, exploring all the corners and contact points, the legs, the hips. Pause if you find a spot that feels good. Circle back the other direction. Back up to center. Let's inhale, find length. The exhale, we're going to begin to reach forward and tense your fingers. Rock back and forth in the hips. Make that contact with the tail. And then just begin to walk those 10-inch fingers forward and begin to fold it in. You're going to feel it. Your hips are going to let you know when you've gone too far. As I said, the depth does not dictate your practice. Find what works good. And maybe it's a little sway side to side. Maybe you want to go to one side. Melt the heart down a little more. Playing around. Working through those outer hips. Pause for a breath. Nice big breath into the middle of the back. Exhale, maybe fold just a little deeper. Forearms. Let the head fall. And then walk the fingertips back in. Go ahead and straighten out the legs. Just release the thighs here, release the hips. Just give them a little shake, shake the ankles out. Let's go ahead and recross opposite leg on top. It's always got one funky leg. It's a little awkward. We're just going to do that same thing. Begin to circle out here and just notice definitely one side part feels a little bit different. Maybe a little bit more tight. Maybe a little bit more caution. Stay with the breath. Stay with that rhythm. Take those circles both directions. And inhale, find length in the torso. Nice big breath in. Exhale, reach. Tent those fingers. Wiggle back into that tail. Nice firm contact with the hip points. And then just begin to melt and fold yourself down in it. Sway side to side. Walk your fingers one direction. Over to the other side. Back to center. Inhale, find a little more length. Exhale, fold down the knees. Go ahead and walk this back in. Extend the legs out long, let all that go. Shake it out. Go ahead, cross the feet. We'll roll over the ankles. And we're going to make our way right up to a standing mountain pose. Just take your time, bring yourself up. Let's go ahead and set that foundation. Maybe a little shake out, a little side to side, let those hips go soft. All right. Go ahead and place the big toes down. Spread all 10 toes out nice and wide. Get some space in between them. Move down through those heels. You bring palms to heart center, or if you like, extend the fingertips out towards the earth. Gentle pull up and into those kneecaps. Just a little draw in and down of the lower ribs, firming up the belly, but the breath is moving. Find some length in that crown, length in the spine. Let's pause here for a few rounds of breath. Deep breath in. Nice slow breath out the nose. Right. Let's go ahead and bring the hips or the fingers to the hips. Part the feet just a little bit wider. Just begin to rock a little bit side to side. We'll go ahead and start to circle out the hips. I can't talk this morning. So lead with the tailbone. So the tailbone is going to come up and around, and then stick it out, bring it back up and around. Get your hula hoop working a little bit. Nobody's watching. Take it to the other side. Bring the feet back to hip width distance. We're going to go ahead and place all the weight down into the heels. So pop the toes up. Fingertips are going to come forward. Nice big inhale here. On the exhale, we're going to sit back into our chair. Toes can come down, but your weight is into those heels. Thighs are squeezing together as if you had a block in between them. Feel those leg muscles firm up, fire up. Maybe lift the arms up, open the chest a little bit more. Inhale here. Exhale, we're going to fold, melt down. Inhale, halfway lift, crown forward, thighs back, big breath. Exhale, fold down again. Inhale, root to rise, bend through the knees, draw that energy up through the legs. Inhale, fingertips up to touch. Palms back to heart center. All right, same thing. Toes up, heels root. Go ahead and squat, coming into that chair pose with Pitasana. Feeling those glutes fire up. Maybe lift the arms up. Big breath in, and exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, rise, roll up through the spine. Fingertips out nice and wide. Need a little back bend here. Hips come slightly forward. And exhale. Heart center. This time we're going to take it into the toes. So you can go ahead and even come up on your tippy toes. Otherwise, shift the weight into the toes. Begin to squat back down into that chair. So maybe you want to play around with a little bit of that balance. You're feeling that now on the front thighs, the quads here. Maybe lift those arms up. Big breath in. Exhale, fold it up. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way back up. Exhale, towards the heart center. One last time. Into the toes. Squat down. Belly engaged. We're breathing. Take the lift up a little bit more. Exhale. Last time, folding in. Bend the knees a lot. We'll straighten out, stretch each leg. If you have a block available, you can go ahead and work through those outer hips. So we're going to take the right hand down. Straighten out through the opposite leg, so that left leg. Then inhale, find a twist. Feel that stretch up through that IT band into that left hip. Big breath in. Nice slow exhale. Go ahead and release. Second side. Straighten out through the right leg. Inhale, twist and hold. One more breath. And exhale, release. One more halfway. Pitasana, thighs back, forward. Pause here for a cycle. And exhale back. We're going to go ahead and step back with the left leg. We'll come into a low lunge. Blocks alongside if you'd like. Lengthen out through that back leg. So kind of work that left foot back. As you begin to come up, what we want to do here is we're pressing down through that left thigh, but we want the belly opened up. So we're not just kind of sinking into that front leg. So we're pressing down through that left thigh, tailbone's down and belly comes up, chest is open here. So two opposing forces at work. Inhale here. Tuck the back toes. We're just going to rock back and forth into this half split. We're going to do this a couple times. Toes are going to pop up. We're drawing that right hip back. Big breath in. Exhale, come back up. Low lunge. Hips drawing down. Chest is open. Big breath in. Exhale it down. Straighten out. One more time. Back up. Low lunge. Inhale here. Exhale down. One more time. Come back up. Untuck those toes. Go ahead and turn that knee out. So this hip or this knee still open, this thigh's open. We're just going to come into sort of a little lunge side angle, if you will. So we'll go ahead and bring that elbow to the knee, pull that back shoulder back, inhale, and take that arm up and over the ear. Drawing that right knee back, sort of going to want to follow and collapse in. So you use that elbow, just nudge it back a little bit more. Big breath in. On the exhale, watch the transition. Top arm comes up. Bring it down. We're going to turn that left foot in, right foot, sorry. Then we're going to take just a modified side plank. Hips are open. Just bring that tailbone slightly forward, tucking it in. Big breath in. On the exhale, palms come down, walk back to center. Line it up the torso. We're going to take a side gate pose. The toes are pointed forward as much as we can. Taking that top arm up and then slide that right arm down the leg, taking it up and over. Drawing that left shoulder back a little bit more. Big breath in. And exhale, release it all. Back to center. Rock the hips a little side to side, release. Go ahead and tuck those toes, we'll push back. First downward dog. Walk that dog out, shorten up your stance, stretch those calves out. Then take the feet a little bit wider than about shoulder width and just rock the hips side to side. If you want to even deepen, you can come up off of one foot, roll and drop a hip down. Again, if it doesn't feel good, do not do it. Just find where you can find some depth for your body. All right, we're in downward dog. Nice big breath in. We'll take the left leg up and back. Exhale. Send it all the way forward, coming into that low lunge second side. As you begin to bring yourself up, tuck that tail, draw down through that thigh, and open up through the chest. Move with the breath here. Inhale. Exhale down, tuck the toes, straighten out, stretch through that hamstring, drawing that left foot back. Toes pop up. Move with your rhythm. Move up. Exhale down. Back up. And down one last. Take that little modified, low extended side angle. So we're going to turn that knee, make that little kickstand. Bring that elbow up. Feel that shoulder back. Find some length. Exhale, gentle side body stretch. Breathing into those ribs. Let's inhale here. Exhale, transition. Get that top arm down. Turn those toes. That modified side plank. You're not sinking into that shoulder, but pressing up. Back it up through the shoulders. Nice big breath in. On the exhale, palms come down. Bring yourself back to center. Walk your way up through the torso. Inhale, find length in the torso. And exhale, slide down the leg. Taking that arm up and over. One more breath here. Exhale, release. Take your time. Let that leg go. Bring it back to center. Bring the toes to touch. Let's take a happy baby here. Before you start to sink down, really draw your hips back towards your heels as much as you can. Find some space in the chest, hit the fingers. And then exhale, start to melt yourself down and in. Let the forehead just come to contact with the mat. Nice big breath into the center of the back. Exhale, just let everything go here. One more breath in. And nice, slow, long exhale out. Back up to fingertips. Back up to the tabletop. Walk the fingertips forward. Up those toes. And push back, downward dog. Deep inhale in. On that exhale, step hop, float yourself forward. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold down. Inhale all the way back to stand. Take your time. Fingertips up. Gentle back bend. And exhale. And I'll go palm down to heart center, shaking all right. How we doing, guys? Everybody good? All right. All right. We're going to take a wide stance. So listen to the cues. You can also just kind of be looking over at me. Not too wide, but definitely wider than shoulders. So just a little side to side and just kind of start working through some lunges here. So working into the legs, working those hips, getting that hip mobility going. And notice you really can't go like super far in that lunge, right? Kind of at that capacity like right here. So now we come back. We're gonna go ahead and turn the foot out. Open and roll that thigh open. And now when we come into that lunge, we can get in super deep. So that's why when we're in Warrior 2 and we say roll that thigh out, open those hips, it's giving you that extra little bit of mobility as opposed to when you're here, you can only go so far. So we're nice and open through that leg. Let's just kind of work into that lunge back and forth a little bit. Holding onto the hips, feel that in the hips. Getting some leg strengthening going on. Let's go ahead and add the arms. Inhale, roll the shoulders open, big breath in. Exhale, sink down and in, look out over that front arm. Inhale, palms up to touch, straighten out through the front leg, big breath, little pause. Exhale, sink down and in. Do that one more time. And exhale, nice, deep lunge. Let's reverse that warrior. Take the fingertips up and over. Draw that right shoulder back a little bit. Back to warrior two. And we'll go ahead and turn the toes back in. You need a little shake out there. Feeling that back thigh, that hip. We're gonna do that same thing, other side. Turn that other foot out. Heel to arch alignment here. Go ahead and put the palms on the hips here, just right on those little hip points. And just feel that deepening of that lunge. Back up. Sink in. Let's go ahead and add the arms. Find some length in the torso. Exhale, sink. Inhale up, straighten the leg. Exhale, sink. One more. And sink in. Let's reverse it. And warrior two. And let it go. Turn the toes back in. Shake it all out. All right. Back to that wide stance. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to turn out the first foot. And we're going to work through the same thing, but we're going to do triangle. So straighten out through the leg. Dip the hip. Put your hands on your hips. Back hips coming up. Front hips dipping down and in. Set yourself up with a block if you know that helps you out on that outer edge. And then just bring yourself back up. Rock in. Take it back up. Add the arms. Stack the shoulders. Palm down to block, to shin. And draw that back shoulder up, stacking up to the arms. Deep breath in. Gentle breath out. As you come up, use your core strength to draw yourself back up. Turn toes back to center. We'll take that to the opposite side. Heel to arch alignment. Dip that hip. Kind of play around with it before you add the arms. Just leaning over that front hip, drawing it back. And then let's add the arms. Fingertips out, reach forward, stack shoulders up. Draw that right shoulder back. Deep breath in. And when you're ready, core strength, pull it up, turn toes back to center, and we'll go ahead and step back towards the top. Give it a little bit of a shake. All right, hips should be feeling nice and open now. We'll go ahead and do just a little balance. Firm down through those feet, root down through those heels. And then we'll go ahead and take it to tree pose. So before you start just pulling it up in there, turn the knee out, just as we were doing before. And you can be here in tree pose. So you can be in this little kickstand. You can have the toe down. You're still using that core strength, that little bit of balance, firming up everything in the center line of the body. If you like, maybe crawling that up to the calf. You need a little bit of help, bringing it up into the thigh, pressing that heel into the thigh and the thigh into the heel. The gaze or drishti is soft, something not moving. Further up your gaze goes, the more challenging. Maybe add those arms, blow them out. So we'll keep that thigh nice and open if it starts to draw in. Cactus with arms, open up the chest. These stable trees out of here, beautiful. Palms back to center. Foot off the leg, bring it back to center, place it down, shake it out, and let it go. All right, second side. Shift the weight over to the right. Toes spread nice and wide, so nice firm roots. And then again, open up the inner thigh, the knee, the hip. Find that little kickstand, set yourself up. Lower ribs, gentle squeeze down and in. And bring it up to wherever position feels comfortable for you to stay. Arm variations, maybe something different than you did before. Chest. Maybe a little bind, whatever feels good. One side's always going to feel a little stronger, stable than the other. Arms back to center. Gentle release. Go. Time check. How we doing? Oh, we got a little time. All right, let's do one more balance before we start to wind things down to the ground. Eagle pose. This is always one to been working on those thighs, been working through those hips. So let's see how it goes. We'll go ahead and shift the weight over to the left side. Same thing here. Instead of just coming up and over and then be wobbling, set your foundation up. Just do a little kickstand. Bend into that standing leg. Come up to the toes. Press the palms into the heart center. And then maybe begin to just bring the knee up. See if you can cross it over. You're going to sit back in that chair like we were doing earlier. Maybe you can bring those toes back around, link them, and get that bind. Maybe not. Let's take the right arm forward. Other arm underneath. Elbows come up. And exhale. Draw the elbows down and in, opening the chest. Pause. Deep breath in. Shake. Fall out of it. Get back in it. Undo the arms. Take the leg off. Place it down. Shake that. Opposite leg out. It's probably screaming at you. All right, second side. Build that foundation from the ground up. Toes nice and wide. Bend into that standing leg. Find that little kickstand. Find that point of balance before you even get into it. Start to bring that thigh up and over. One side's always more difficult. This is definitely my harder side. Take the left arm forward. Bring the arm underneath. Bind as much as you can. Elbows up, sink down and in. Take a breath. Wind from the top down. Let it go. Shake it out. Good job, guys. All right. Let's flow it out. Inhale up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold down in. Go ahead and place the palms down. Step it all the way back to a plank. Pause here for a breath or two. Belly button pulled up and through. Pressing up out of the shoulders. Inhale here. Exhale. Go ahead and lower knees down. Untuck the toes. Bring yourself all the way down to the belly. Rock back and forth on those hips. Lengthen out through the front of the body as much as possible. So lengthen out through the thighs. Draw the toes back towards the back of the neck. And then bring the elbows underneath the shoulders, coming into a sphinx. Flag the tail a little bit here. Feeling that lower back start to fire up and engage. Pressing into the top of the pelvis. Nice big sip of air in through the nose. Exhale, look over shoulder. Notice how that changes the flow of breath a little bit. Deep breath into the right side. And exhale back to center. Inhale in. And exhale, look the other direction. See back towards the forward. Back to center. And exhale. Just come down, make a little pillow for the hands. Go ahead and bend the knees and just windshield wiper the leg side to side. Release anything you're holding in the low back. All right. So options here. Hips are probably feeling pretty open. They might be really barking at you and you're like, this sucks. Why am I doing so much hip open? Because you probably need it. All right. You can go happy baby. It's definitely gonna, still be a intense hip opener. Or we're gonna go into frog pose. Ooh, everyone hates frog pose. So, except for Johnny. So, child's pose, toes are touching, knees are wide, you're working the hips back. All right. If you want to get into frog, bringing those knees out about shoulder width distance, and those feet need to be flexed. That's going to protect those knees. So don't have the ankles just in like your toes to touch. You want that inside of the ankle on the ground, toes are out, and your hips are going to let you know when you've had too much. Maybe you're coming down to forearms, and the further back you draw your tail, the more intense that's going to be. So if you feel any super sharp pinching, please get out of it. Another great option here is you can do a half frog. So come back onto the belly, kind of in Sphinx. Bring that hip out to the side. Foot is flexed. And the more you start to draw yourself up and that tail back, you're going to feel it as well. Definitely not as intense. So let's just be happy baby, frog, whatever shape is good for your hips. And just see if you can soften a little bit. When we get into some of these hip openers like pigeon or frog, we tense up and kind of hold it and just see if you can just release the fascia, the flesh around the muscles just a little bit more. Nice, slow breath in. Gentle exhale out. Maybe deepening a little bit further. One more round of breath wherever you are. In frog, you're going to kind of walk the hands forward a little bit. That'll kind of release the hips, and then you can bring the hips back in line. Rock back and forth. And then bring your fingertips into your chest. Push yourself back. Bring the hips back. We're going to take a small child's pose here. So thighs together. Fingertips slide along towards the heel. And that should feel really good on the outer hips, just giving them some relief. You can go ahead and grab for the backs of the heels there and just pull them sort of in towards the glutes. One more breath here. And then begin to draw your head up. Roll off to one side. And we'll bring the legs up. Check. All right, guys. I think that's the worst of it. We'll do a little bit more of it. Come up onto that blanket if you'd like. Get that little extra tilt in that pelvis. And then push out through those heels as you draw the thighs down here. Draw the toes back in towards you. Tadasana, staff pose. Roll the shoulders back, fingertips slightly forward. Place them alongside the hips. Just letting everything start to slow down a little bit. Let's inhale, fingertips up. Find some length in that torso before you start to fold. So that torso as long as you possibly can. Big inhale. Exhale, reaching forward, crown of the head forward, beginning to fold down, keeping those front feet nice and active. Let's do that one more time. Slide the palms alongside the thighs, roll up through the spine. Find length. Exhale, hinge and fold. Just let the crown of the head be heavy. Nice big breath right into the center of the back. Maybe a little rock side to side. Find another little 1/8 of an inch there to fold in deeper. Let's go ahead and let all that go. Bring the feet nice and wide, a little bit wider than the hips, knees with that here. And before we were sort of on that, in front of those sit bones, we'll sit back on the tail a little bit here. You can also remove that blanket. Roll shoulders back though, so our chest is open, so we're not hunching forward. Open up to the front side of the chest, fingertips forward, and then just rock those hips side to side, nice and slow. You come over to one side, roll that top hip over a little bit so you kind of get a little extra stretch. Physically grab it and kind of do it. Feels really good. Turning the pelvis. Now let's take a twist. Let's take it all the way over to one side and work from the base of the spine up to the shoulder. So begin to walk your hips back around. Bring your chest up. Again, twist from the lower spine up, the mid spine, shoulders, and then crown of the head goes flat. Nice big deep breath in here. One more round. Exhale and unwind from the top down. So head goes first. Shoulders start coming back all the way down. Take over second side. Take your time. One more full breath in. Twisting a little deeper on the exhale. Okay. Unwind from the top down. Take it back to center. All right. We're going to go ahead and bring that left heel in towards the glute. We're going to bend at the knee and the right leg. We're going to go ahead and cradle that hip. Cradle the foot. So options you can kind of have elbows underneath. It's kind of a nice little one. Grab the foot with the forearm. And then just take your time pulling that leg across, getting into that right hip. Talk to it, John. We're going to go ahead and extend out through that foot, coming into heron pose. So you can grab just for the back of the leg. You can be here. If you can get a hold of the foot, you want to open up that chest, push out through the heel. Nice big breath in. One a little bit more. A little twist back, reaching back with that right arm. That's going to intensify on that hamstring and hip. Take it back to center. Bend the knee, let it go. We're going to go ahead and place it across the leg. If this is a little too intense, opposite leg can be forward. can also have it on the inside. So you have a couple different options. This is going to be a little bit of the easiest degree. You can be crossed over, or you can be firmed up nice and tight like this. We'll squeeze in of everything, nice and compact. Inhale, find length. Again, twisting from the base. We're going to go ahead and wrap around the leg. Open the shoulders back. Open, twist straight. Back to center. And then take our closed twist. Wrap around. Draw that knee in. One more breath. Let that all go. Extend the legs out. Shimmy shake. Second side. We'll go ahead and bring that right heel in. Bend at the knee. Cradle the other baby. You're rocking, and then you're pulling that ankle across, feeling that on that outer hip. When's the paternal kisser right now? That hip nice and good. We're going to take that hair on pose. So bring that hip in, or the heel in towards the hip. That little kickstand. Extend out through the leg, either grab the back of the thigh, open up the chest, edges of the feet, whatever you get a hold of. Strap is great here as well. Stay here. Like add-ons, do that twist, open up the shoulders, reaching with fingertips and the heel at the same time. One more breath. Exhale, release, bend at the leg. Same options. Place it across. That's going to be a little bit more intense on hips, or here, or here. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, open twist. Feel that twist down into the hips. You know, we think of the usually just these twists where we're really getting into the spine. Use that elbow as a little leverage. Feel that down into that left hip. Inhale back up. Exhale. Wrapping around. Roll that back shoulder back. Find some length in the spine. All right, legs come forward. Let's go ahead and bring the heels in towards each other. Pitasana. Obviously, the further in those heels come, the more you're going to feel that. So you can be out here in a little bit more of a diamond shape. Grab for the ankles, roll the chest open, the pelvis comes forward. Nice big breath. Deep breath into the inner thighs. And exhale if you'd like. Maybe walk the fingertips forward. Sway if you like. Pause for another full cycle of breath here. Exhale, maybe fold a little deeper. Take your time. Walk back up the hip. Go ahead and reach for the outer edges of the thighs. Help yourself out. Extend the legs out. Come back down to our backs. Wind everything completely down. All right. Let's go ahead and draw the knees back up into the chest. Drawing those femur bones back into the hips. Notice how you feel. Probably maybe a little bit more open, maybe a little bit more tender. Definitely feeling something probably different from when we began. We're gonna come back to that figure four. So heels back down, take the right ankle across. We'll thread the needle through. We're not gonna be here much. We're gonna come into a little twist series with this, but again, just notice how you feel a little different from when we started. So right ankle across the left knee. All right, left foot's gonna come down. Arms are gonna come out to a T. Gonna bump the hips over to the right, and we're just gonna let that right foot drop down to the ground. So you're feeling that along the right hip, probably maybe even in that low back on the right side. Also have a foot like on a block. They're not going all the way down to the ground. Totally fine. Find your shape. Pause here for a cycle of breath. See where you can soften and maybe let go of anything you're holding. One more round. When you're ready, we'll come back up to that figure four. So we're going to bring that left knee up off the ground. And then bring your tailbone back to the center of the mat here. Square yourself off. Arms back out to a T. And then we're going to do the opposite. We're going to bump the hips over to the left side. So you can bring that left foot out to the edge of the mat. Bump your hips over. And then begin to just let that right foot carry that left foot over, or left knee over to take a twist. Might need to kind of shimmy things around a little bit, find a little bit more space. See if you can let those knees start to come down to the ground. A block can be under that right knee if you like. And also intensify the twist by your gaze going the opposite direction, so over to the left in this case. Let's do another nice, slow, easy cycle of breath here, seeing what you can let go of inside. Go ahead and take that right ankle off the knee. Just let everything go. Bring everything back to center. Bring your hips back to square. You know, wiggle back and forth on that low back. See if you're holding anything there. And we'll take that series to the opposite side. So we'll place that left ankle across the knee on the right side. Thread the needle through. Side to side. Arms out to a T. Bump those hips over to the left. And then start to let that left foot fall across the body, coming down to the right side. If you're not feeling this, you sort of push that left knee away, more down towards the bottom of your mat. You'll start to feel that up through that left hip a little bit more and into that left low back. Using that figure four as leverage, stretch out to that left side. All right, for the full cycle of breath here, just letting everything slow down. Ready? Back up to figure four. Bring hips back to center. Arms to a T. And a big bump of that right hip over. And it's beginning to let that left knee fall across. And you're turning that right heel to the inside so you can Let that right knee come down. Pause here for one more cycle of breath. Slowly unwind. And just take whatever feels good to you. What do you need right now? If you're like, I do not need another happy baby, my hips are killing me, then don't take one. Maybe bring the knees back into the chest. Maybe you want to take a plow pose, something else in your practice. Just whatever can kind of just get you prepared to let everything release and let go. If it's just one final pose you're needing, go ahead and take it. Otherwise, just press out through the heels, extend the legs nice and long, and then just let those ankles fall open. Just release the ankles, let that opening start to travel up through the legs, into the hips, into the pelvis. Just let the belly go completely soft here. And before you sink into your Shavasana, just see if there's anything you're holding in the face. Increase the brow, wiggle the jaw side to side. We'll just be here for a few final moments, just enjoying the benefits of our practice. Not let that busy mind draw you out of this moment. This is some of the most important parts of our practice. Just finding that stillness. Enjoy that yoga buzz for a few final moments and allow me to call you back. Okay, let's gently just begin to deepen the breath. Bring those sensations back into the body. Just micro movements, wiggle fingers and toes, raise the eyebrows, moisten the lips. Back, go ahead and slide the ankles together. Bring the arms up overhead, flex and point the toes. Just take a nice full body stretch. Biggest breath you've taken all day, nice and slow. And on the exhale, just let everything go. Let everything go soft. Go ahead and gather the knees up towards the chest here. Give yourself last little final squeeze. Maybe bring the nose up into the knees. Hold that little ball. And then roll yourself off to one side. Maybe pause there with the hand on the earth, just feeling that connection. And when you're ready, make your way up to a comfortable seat. Keeping the gaze soft or the eyes closed. Roll the shoulders up and back. Open up the chest a little bit more. Slide the palms back along the thigh. Nice deep breath in. Exhale, just let the shoulders melt away from the ears. Inhale, stick the fingertips out. Bring them up to touch. Gather up all that love, light, prana, energy, sunlight. Draw it down into the heart space. Let the gaze fall along down to it. Take a moment. Thank yourself for definitely making the right decision to tend to your practice be in this place of surrender, solitude, self-exploration. And I'd like to thank each and every one of you for allowing me to guide you through the practice. From my heart to yours, namaste. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Acknowledge your fellow yogis, this wonderful community of ours. Take care, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks.